Oh, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, outsiders of all ages, bring your grievances. It's the Festivus episode of The Outsiders. That's why the Mach 5 is in such a good mood tonight, or such a bad mood, depending on how you look at Festivus. We will put some extra grievances on that Festivus poll, and we've got all the outsiders ready to go. It is The Outsiders, brought to you by Poncho Outdoors. Let's show you some of the flannels. I just got one of these myself. The Pearl Cat, the Powder River, they're on my list. Check out the whole list, the entire collection at ponchooutdoors.com/outsiders for $10 off your first order. We also have told you about the collab with Resistol. Go check out those hats and shirts. The collab with Thomas Rhett. Go check out that great shirt. This is the Powder River right here. You can see the plaid a little bit. It's like a trick shirt though, fellas. It's only like the plaid is kind of when the light hits it, you see the plaid. But when the light's not hitting it, it's a little more of a discreet plaid.
Like a ghost plaid.
Exactly. Kind of a dress plaid, if you will. Not like an in-your-face plaid, like, oh my God, that guy's wearing plaid. It's just very classy. The classy plaid. It's very nice.
So I'm going to make a comment here that may be construed as a dick move. So Jason, you tell me, but I was going to make a joke when you said it was a funny plaid. Is that like A&M was a funny playoff team? Like they made an appearance, but not really?
There probably could be a joke made for just like the A&M offense when the bright lights hit the shirt, that sometimes it changes a little bit. And
right.
This one changed for the better, and they didn't change for the better. But yes, you could absolutely say that.
Still waiting on their first playoff touchdown. You guys can do it, though.
Waiting on that.
Hey, who gets it first? Does OU get a playoff win before A&M gets a playoff touchdown, or does A&M get a touchdown next year if they make the playoffs?
Well, I'll say this, and you guys know. I mean, I have love for my Aggie friends. But the level of obnoxiousness on X this past week has been over the edge, especially with a young man named Jackson Calloway. And, I mean, he likes to chirp all the time. And finally today, he was like, preseason number 1, and y'all are talking about us getting knocked out. And I was like, I just put, Texas preseason ranking is still greater than number of touchdowns A&M scored in the playoffs.
Or you could say this. Texas postseason ranking may be ahead of Texas A&M when the dust settles. If they look at it objectively, assuming Texas beats whatever Michigan is in the Cheese Bowl, we're going to have the same number of losses and we beat them on a field. So by the criteria they say they use, we should actually be one step ahead of them.
Hey, we'll get to the Aggies. They let me down because they were in this envelope of joy, which became an envelope of sadness.
Yeah.
All right. So this is an envelope of amazingness. And you know where my head was going before the week started? It was hate week. Water finds its level. Redemption weekend.
All right. So we've teased football talk. We've teased the envelopes. Do we need to start in one of those spots, or you guys want to start with Coach Boom's return?
I think we start with Boom's return because I spent quite a bit of time listening to you and Jeff today talk about Boom, and I might have some qualms with Jeff's takes, but we'll get to it.
Coach Boom returns. Let's see if the sequel could be better than the first one. Will Muschamp is going to be the DC at Texas in 2026. A bit of a shocker. Give me y'all's reactions here. Chance, go ahead and start us off. Your level of surprise when you heard that this thing was going down Friday, or I guess it was announced Thursday, presser on Friday.
So I wasn't shocked, and I'll tell you why I wasn't shocked. It's because I paid attention to Sark's post-game press conference from the field after the Vanderbilt game. And the comment was very, very much, and I'm not saying verbatim this is what he said, but to the gist of it was, I just wish that we could figure out how to finish games. Because I think at the end of the day, when it came down to it, that really cost us. And yeah, the offense and the offensive line was garbage against Florida, but let's be real honest. Gave up a ton of yards, could not get off the field against Florida for most of that ball game. Kentucky only scored, 10, I believe, but had like 700 yards of offense. Not really, but you get the point. They couldn't get off the field on third downs. And I do have an issue with our fearless leader, Jeff Ketchum, has these he was talking today about how it wasn't Pete's fault and and the rankings, and I get that. As an offensive guy, let me tell you something. There is a flow to the game, and it works both ways. When the offense is doing 3 and outs, that's bad for the defense. But when the defense can't get off the field on third down and they give up extended drives, and my biggest argument with the bend but don't break mentality is these 3rd and 4, and we're playing 8 yards off the ball. I mean, we give away first downs. That's where I have a problem. I could care less about Colin Simmons dropping into coverage. Colin Simmons was used all over the field. He was highly effective. To that point, I think the two are not mutually exclusive. You can be appreciative of what PK did when he was here, and at the same time be excited for the change, because I think a change needed to come. I think Sark wanted to have somebody that wants that punch him in the mouth attitude, and I think Muschamp brings that. Now, to where he left it before, my only qualm with Muschamp before was what he did to Garrett Gilbert. That was a problem to me. I had a huge problem with it. The kid he's a Gatorade Player of the Year. He's all everything. Had never taken a snap in his high school or junior high career under center. But Muschamp gets made head coach in waiting. And remember, he wanted to go to that 2-back pro-style offense. And what do? I can take any quarterback that's really good under center, and I can put them in shotgun and make them a superstar. But you take a great quarterback in the shotgun and you put him under center, and you don't know what, because the world shrinks to him. Now he has to worry about getting depth. Now he's closer. The world is closed off to him. He's not seeing everything. And I think Will Muschamp had a lot to do with that. But that was because he was head coach in waiting. This is a different deal. Muschamp worrying about just defense, I think, is a great deal. I think it's a good change-up. You had to change up because we haven't been able to get over the Georgia hump. We haven't been able to get over the Ohio State hump. That's where you got to go. And I think you can be excited about Muschamp without shitting on PK for what he did. There was things that he did. I don't philosophically agree with the way that he ran his defense. I don't like bend, don't break. I have to watch it with the Bills all the freaking time. But you know what happens is when you get into big games with that mentality, you get beat, because really, really good teams get down, and they're going to do one of two things. They're going to make a play like Ohio State did, where they only cross the 50 twice, but then they get a big bomb that's a touchdown. Then you get in the end zone against really, really good teams, they are going to score, and then it becomes a problem. So while I appreciate everything PK did, I'm excited about Muschamp.
Bo, what do you think about Muschamp coming back?
I was shocked when it happened. While I wasn't shocked necessarily that Kwiatkowski was let go, Muschamp was not on my bingo card for who they were going to pluck out, because I'm not saying this, but I believed him when he took a step down from co-DC at Georgia when he won Georgia to be around his sons playing football. Now, I realize both in college now, so that changed. That was so he could go watch them in their senior years of high school, and I applaud the hell out of that decision. I just didn't think he was ever coming back. Like, I thought he'd moved to the analyst role. He was going to watch his kid play at Vanderbilt and the one that's a walk-on at Georgia, and maybe he'd throw his hat in the ring 2 or 3 years from now. I didn't see him as a viable candidate. So that part of it shocked me. I do agree with Chance's assessment that Kwiatkowski deserves our respect and our thank yous, because he did do some really good things for Texas. We didn't reach the mountain we were trying to get to, but we got a hell of a lot. We at least got in the game, which we weren't there before that. So kudos to Pete for that. But I've never been a bend, don't break guy, because I think that it takes you out of an aggressive mindset. I'd rather our team play aggressive as hell and give up 2 big plays, but those be the only 2 touchdowns we give up, and then we're fine. Instead of it just being slow war of attrition, where like every single Texas game was like a nail biter, because you knew they were going to be in the red zone. It was just a matter of whether we could stop them on 3rd and short and 4th and short. I'd rather defense that tries to take the damn ball away all the time, and sometimes, but I would rather the whole damn thing. I'd rather have something that was fun to root for. And bend, don't break is never fun to root for.
Jason, Dick, what do you think about the Muschamp move?
Well, first of all, let me say about PK, as someone who's been fired from every job he's ever had, this made me feel good, because I was like, I thought that guy's pretty good. Sometimes people just get fired, I guess. Yeah. So all right. I truly thought we were trying to keep people from hiring him away from us. Muschamp, I guess I'm more of I prefer more of a cerebral type coach rather. I mean, I know you got to get in players' ass sometimes, but the whole, like, there's a very popular clip of him out there punching dry erase boards and the like. I don't know if that seems like it wins games in high school and in Disney movies. Does it work when you're coaching the elite of the elite? But my biggest takeaway of this whole thing is, Coach Boom, if you did not get the head coach in waiting designation, what are you doing, man? All right? I mean, you're just right back where you were 15 years ago.
They're not going down that road. They're not doing that thing again.
I would take the job I had 15 years ago in a second. But, yeah, what a stupid idea. Are there any current head coaches in waiting? Did we do that? That's like the worst college football idea since Johnny Manziel is going to be the celebrity guest picker. What's
Belichick's
anybody doing that?
Kid? What's Bill Belichick's goofy looking kid?
Steve.
It may not be in writing, but something tells me if he actually does have success, the head coach in waiting is his son.
I can only think of one head coach in waiting that ever worked. It produced a national title.
Jimbo Fisher.
Correct. That's it.
Yeah.
Jimbo at Florida State.
Yeah.
And they set it up. He became the coach. He won a national title.
So let me say this, Jason, and this is what I would say. Again, I go back to the fact that and Texas fans are always a little bit. They're either too hyped on one thing or they're too negative on the other. That's kind of just the way that they live their lives. But look, to me, take the Jared Goff and the Matthew Stafford example. Sometimes take the Caleb Williams and what's going on in the Bears. Sometimes it just takes a new little change of scenery, a different coach, and a different philosophy. And both of those two guys who struggled where they were originally, I mean, Goff and McVay were that you thought they would be like the greatest thing since sliced bread, and they really weren't. And Stafford spent a career in Detroit. They make the swap. You get a scene change, and the two guys are completely different. I mean, look at Daniel Jones this year. You give him a running back and a different coach, and you get a different outcome. And I think when you look at where Texas has been, they're like, all right, we've been to the playoffs twice, maybe took a step back this year. The Florida game is really where that is, but you still couldn't get over the Ohio State and the Georgia hump, right? Like, okay, we got to make that next step. We got to change something up. And I'm telling you right now, Sark ain't firing himself. That's not happening. So, I don't have a problem with shaking things up. But again, right. I don't think it has to be an indictment on PK. I think it can be philosophical change.
Chance, I agree with you. The only other question I have for you guys before we move on is, if we all agree that there's no reason to, take a shot at PK on the way out the door, why did Sark do it? That's the part everybody's talking about here. It's those two comments about robbing Peter to pay Paul, and that now I don't have to listen to a whole defensive series and I can actually talk to my quarterback. What did y'all make of this notion that PK at some point became so bad at what he does, Sark had to pay too much attention to the defense, and he's arguing it has affected his offense? Bo?
Okay, so I think this truly traces back to two instances. One being the game against Ohio State last year. I don't care. I'm not talking about public comments. I'm talking about what it appears happened when you hear Sark talk about it. I think Sark still blames PK for the screen pass at the end of the half because he didn't have his guys ready because he was in this prevent. They've been doing very well against Ohio State all day, and then right at that moment, his play caller goes into this, everybody give him 20 yards shell, and in that happens a 70-plus yard screen pass that completely flipped the game when the momentum had shifted dramatically. And I on PK, and I think Sark in his mind was like, I didn't think I had to get on the microphone or our headset and tell the guy in the booth that we need to keep playing for the end of this quarter. Vanderbilt game, which I've talked about at length on this show. When we gave up that big lead against Vanderbilt was when our chances of being a 3-loss team in the playoff evaporated. We had them on the ropes. We had Vanderbilt and Diego Heisman favorite Pavia busted and looking bad doing it, and we let off the throttle. And yes, Gilboa coverage, but it's because he was 8 yards off the damn ball to begin with instead of playing the defense that had got us to a big lead. And I think that moment, paralleled with the Ohio State, which he in my mind, Sark blamed on PK. Sark lost trust in PK. And I think on his way out, I think there was some contentious moments moving past that where they were not aligned anymore. And there was some pettiness and some bitterness. And Sark, there's good Sark, and he is the intellectual guy that Chance talks about that thinks of angles and does all these things. But that doesn't mean when he's taken all the heat for his offense, which was young Arch making mistakes in an offensive line that was growing into itself, he was counting on the defense to be the hammer. And his hammer was a bend it, don't break piece of balsa wood. Did it win some games? Yes, but I don't think that's – Sark can't be all gigs verbally, and then his defense is, well, it's only going to be gas once you get inside the 20. Before that, do whatever the hell you want. You can throw it up. We're going to get big cushions. We're going to stop the run, but you can just throw dink and dunk on us all day long. Like, I think that stopped. And I think Sark knew they missed the playoffs because of some missteps by him. But as Chance alluded to, he's not going to blame himself. Who's he going to blame? The number two. And the number two was Kwiatkowski, and the defense, not all the time. They had some great moments. But if you don't think that Florida loss played a role in it too, there's no reason that we should have been given that receiver 10-yard cushions to run over guys with the head of steam instead of getting up and pressing him and making him do something.
Outside of the fact that Arch dropped back 34 times and was under pressure 30 times, take that out of it. I texted you guys the whole time from down in my little haven down in Galveston throwing stuff because I'm going, why can we not get receivers as open as they had them all day? We made a bad Florida offense. I mean, they got some good players. They were not a great offense. We made them look all world. I mean, DJ Lagway was throwing to guys that there weren't somebody within 10 yards of them, 15 yards downfield. And I'm going, what? And that's I'm telling you, it's demoralizing.
Lagway, due to injury, possibly, because he did look better last year at the end of the year and at the end of this season in parts, was out on Lagway after 3 games. Blitz the hell out of him, make him make quick decisions. He's not firing on orders for whatever reason. And what do? We drop into a freaking umbrella coverage, soft on the outsides, and had guys like, I understand you can let Colin Simmons roam. Colin Simmons should have been going after him every down, not covering tight ends. And specifically in the Florida game, there was no reason not to be aggressive. And Colin Simmons' numbers reflected that the 4 or 5 weeks of the season. And look what happens when they shackled him and had him go. And I think Sark blames Kwiatkowski for that. We wasted half a year of Colin Simmons by having him play zone pass coverage for no reason.
Interesting. All right. Jason, Chance, anything else we need to hit on this before we move on? All right. Well, Muschamp coming back to Texas. We'll see what it looks like with the Boom Part 2. Let's start to thank some of our great partners, starting with the good folks at Covert Ford. What's up, Kimberly?
Hi, I'm Kimberly Covert, and since 1909, the Covert family has been committed to Austin's community. For 116 years, we've grown with Texas, driving progress, building trust, and serving the Austin community. Whether it's the all-new 2025 F-150 or the versatile 2025 Ford Maverick, we're here to help you find the perfect fit, just like we've done for generations. At Covert Ford, it's more than cars. It's about family, service, and a legacy of trust. Visit covertford.com and become part of our story.
All right, guys, let's talk a little CFP. Playoff could not have started any better for a Longhorn fan. If you're not going to be in the playoff, you want to watch your rivals puke on their shoes. And they did. OU loses, A&M loses, and then the G6s got quick sixth and pick sixth and deep sixth out of the playoffs like everybody thought they would. Where do we start here, gentlemen? Jason, I'll let you start off the discussion here. What jumped out in the CFP first round?
Yeah, I am a person who has been mostly against the expansion of the college football playoff. And I'll say it again. I like the days of the BCS, guys. There, I said it. I said it again. But let me tell you, I watched all 4 of these games, pretty much every snap of all 4 games. And I am not sure of the 8 teams that I watched, any of them belong in the college football playoff. Now, Ole Miss or Oregon probably are good, but what am I supposed to measure them against? These playing against Tulane and JMU. That's not a real contest. I suppose Alabama, it's pretty good what you did, considering you spotted Oklahoma 17 points to start the game. And then the whole Miami, Texas A&M debacle, I'll let you guys tackle that whole thing. But I did not see a single team this weekend who I was like, that could be the national champion. So when they say the answer to all of our problems is we need to move to 14 or to 16, I watched 8 teams this weekend, and I am not sure that any of them belong in the playoff.
Interesting. Chance, what'd you think?
I will not come off of this mountain. I don't mind the 12 teams, but I think it needs to be the best 12. I think the auto bid is stupid. I think we don't play in the state of Texas a Texas high school state championship. We have a 6A, a 5A, a 4A. We don't ask the 4A team to go play the 6A team. And guess what? That 4A team, when they win a state championship, it's no less exciting for them and their fans than it is for the team that wins a 6A. But guess what? It's like compatible place. Oregon has, and I went and looked, 23 potential draft picks on their roster over the next 2 years.
Yeah.
You don't know how many JMU has? They said potential.
Yeah, one.
That doesn't
One.
mean, okay, that's not good competition. Number one, it's not fair to JMU because they put together a hell of a season. They should have a chance to go compete for a real championship. Let them go play against teams and compete. Let them play against Tulane. Give them an opportunity. And you want to expand college football and the viewership? Oh, my God. Imagine having 2 playoffs going on at the same time and all the games being good. And to your point, Jason, you know what I didn't watch? I did not watch most of that Oregon game because it was so bad. I clicked over and watched the Bears-Packers because that was a hell of a game.
Yep. Yeah, I was really happy for those 2 NFL games where they fell during the day. They gave you a chance to switch away from 2 games that we knew were going to be out of whack.
Well, due to I happen to use the Fubo TV, and they don't have MB or the CNN TNTs at the moment. I couldn't watch the games. And I went to my HBO Max because I have all the other crap. No, they wanted $30 to upgrade the 2 games. I was like, I'm not paying $30 to watch this crap. And then I looked on Twitter, and it was midway through the second quarter. I was averaging 15 yards a snap. And yes, and I know there's been blowouts and other playoff games. That's what everybody goes to. Well, there were games that were blowout. Yes, that's fine. There were. But this is one everybody knew was going to be a blowout, and it played out exactly as everybody thought, because when you have a team with high-caliber thoroughbreds against a team of rented mules, it's going to outrun them, and that's what happened. And that's not to knock JMU. They're a hell of a story. And if they were competing against Texas State and Sam Houston State and, hell, maybe Montana State or other schools that are of that size and financial ilk, then it would be awesome. But we shouldn't have Ohio, in this case it was Oregon, and everybody's like, well, once in a while they win one. Maybe, but they sure as hell aren't winning 3. And you know it, they know it. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's a parlor trick. And it's like, oh, we're going to make everybody feel good. No, it doesn't make you feel good to watch the kid that shouldn't be out there get his ass kicked.
You know who didn't feel good? Those JMU players who went into it knowing they were going to get slaughtered. And after the season that they had, they were just a sacrificial lamb. All right, well, we're here. We get a bunch of neat clothes that have a patch on it just to go get our ass kicked. And the score wasn't even remotely close to how bad it could have been.
Yeah. I'm stepping on my envelope prediction a little bit here. But there have been blowouts in the college football playoff every year. Okay. I believe Alabama beat Michigan State like 38-0 one time. Clemson over Ohio State shut them out. There was a national championship game with TCU and Georgia that was like a disaster. But when you put these teams in, you are asking for it to happen. You are begging for an unwatchable football game to happen. And one of the things I heard this weekend that makes no sense is, well, if you're against this, you must hate March Madness in the NCAA tournament. I'm like, okay, listen, when whoever it was, University of Maryland, Baltimore County beat Virginia or something, the 16 versus 1, we have waited for decades, literally for decades, for that to happen one time. Okay, so how many, and that's when you're letting in 68 teams. How many years are we going to have to watch before we see the Sun Belt champion beat Georgia? Like it's just you're just throwing a game away. So,
but in the basketball tournament, it's a good story. And what always happens to Cinderella? They don't actually win the damn title. Once or twice they've made it to the Final Four with some other things broke their way, but then they became cannon fodder, had to sit for a week, and teams got to prep for them. Like it's a circus.
I'm gonna tell you like
a trick.
I'm gonna tell you like I tell my little kids, because I got in the same argument with some dumbass on X this week because I thought it was funny. Like you can't get into the weeds of that because they're not comparable. Basketball is a sport where you have 5 starters. And you maybe have a 6th and a 7th man that come off the bench, and that's it. One dominant player can go in and make a difference in a game. That's just
Steph
a fact.
Curry at Davidson. Steph Curry took Davidson on a run, and it's little Davidson. But they had Steph Curry, an NBA Hall of Famer, who could just dominate the other 5 guys. You could take –
Hold on, Bo. Would you give me a second? But in football, you've got maybe 35 players – they're going to play throughout the game. And of those 35 players, when you've got 12 of them on one team that are 5-star, another 18 that are 4-star, and they're playing against a team that out of those 35 players, the highest ranked guy is a 3-star and the rest are 2-stars and nobody even know where they came from. Like that, it's not right. And it's not fair, and it's not good for the sport, because if you want to grow the sport, you know what you need? You need a ton of games that are like, sadly, Oklahoma and Alabama. Everybody tuned in to watch that because there was even people that thought, oh, this game's getting away from them. And they were going, yeah, but Alabama can come back from this. It's Oklahoma. We've seen their offense. Those are games that you want to watch, right? Like, I know that it didn't end up our way, but Washington, Texas, that's a game that people want to watch. It was great TV. And what at the end of the day, and I tell these young players this all the time, don't forget what you are. You are nothing more than an entertainer. That's it. You are an entertainer. You are there to entertain the masses. And if we're not putting entertaining games out there, we're doing a disservice to the sport.
All right, let's see if we have any ability to predict anything. We do have the Festivus Grievances coming up, but first we are going to get the envelope game brought to you by Battalion Fire Protection. Bo Edge, I'm seeing you in the lead with 9 points. You're going for double digits. It sounds like you're confident. What do you got?
It was labeled Redemption Weekend. Water always finds its level.
All right.
Let's see if water found its level in my predictions.
Oh, he sounds confident, folks.
Alabama by 10 plus.
Alabama by 10.
But got there.
I believe that happened, yes.
They won by 10.
Mm-hmm.
Miami wins. And then I failed at the end. I failed at the end with Oregon by 28 plus. They were up by 40 when they put in their second streamers, but no, they did 17. So
there you go.
And then I also said my fantasy wins its playoff game, and that was wrong.
Wow. Bo, as always, with 2 points this week, but still making way more predictions than we tell him to. It doesn't.
I didn't have to say the losers. Right. I could have just said the 2 winners.
That's not how it works. In second place, Chance Mock is riding a 7 spot. Chance, what do you got?
So I did take the Bo Edge approach this week.
Of course you did. I'm going to start doing 8 of these every week.
But one of them is not really a prediction, so I'm not going to count it.
All right.
Now, number 1. My beautiful handwriting.
Yes.
You do have nice good-looking handwriting. Look at that.
You got great penmanship.
Oh, yeah.
For real.
Mine all look like ransom notes.
You're like, what is it? The Unibomber? No, who was it? The Zodiac killer?
Zodiac.
They cut out the letters from the magazines.
That's a lot of work, man.
That's too much effort, but
too much work.
All right. Browns D is garbage outside of Myles Garrett. Jimbo is the league's leading rusher by the end of the weekend. We don't know because tonight, he's number 1 right now, but Jonathan Taylor's playing tonight.
Ah.
Okay.
Okay.
So
James Cook is Jimbo in this scenario.
James Cook. Okay.
For you non-Bills Mafia members out there.
Yes. Thank you for
Jimbo.
that. Thank you, Jason, for the Bills to English dictionary translation.
Saved me in fantasy this week, so I'm very. I too am a fan of Jimbo. Good job, buddy.
Jimbo, he's actually had 900-yard games this year, which is more than anybody in the league.
Okay, so that's if. Okay, so we're
just
holding that off.
We're going to put that as a question mark.
Yeah, if Cook is still the leading rusher in the league after this week.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay, go ahead.
Number 2. Alabama avenges the loss from T-Town, beats OU by double digits.
Oh, look, he did that one too. Even went with the double digits and got it. All right, I like it.
Number 3.
And there's the number 3, of course.
The Aggies rebound and convincingly advanced to round 2.
Oh, so you just added you added that on purpose, didn't you? You didn't even write that down. No, you added that late just to be mean. Just to be mean. All right, 8 points for Chance Mock.
Look at that. You could be a high school teacher with that penmanship.
Did you see my number 4, Chad? That was just for fun.
Other two. Wait, what is this? Other 2 games are worth watching. Yeah. You nailed that one. All right, gentlemen. Let's see. I come in with 6.5 points. I went basic, and I got half right. Bama beats OU. Since I just put that, I get that one. All right, that's 7.5. And A&M beats Miami. Yeah, that did not happen. All right, I get 1 point up to 7.5. Jason Dick, I've got you with 5 points. What do you got?
Well, I want to comment on my fellow outsiders' predictions. First of all, Bo, I just had to Google water always finds its level. Is Razor taking physics or something right now? That seems way too smart for a thing for you to know.
That really was like an Archimedes kind of thing.
Yeah,
right?
This is pretty good.
Believe it or not, I have lucid moments. When I'm not drinking gummy beers, I actually can think pretty clear.
Oh, good job. Good job. And Chance, your number 4 prediction that you said was the not even worth counting is my main prediction. I have JMU Lane. That's right. I'm combining their names because if you put James Madison and Tulane together, maybe you can find a competitive football team. But no, JMU Lane is so not competitive. The college football playoff changes the rules in this ever-flowing, audible, available system. I bet they take the automatic bid away. Okay. Well, and not because what there's a contract, there's something like that. They change the rules all the time. All I'm going to say is that if they are insistent on they want to give the little guy a chance, they don't care. Why did we go to 12 teams? It's not so you can find out who the real national champion is. It's for TV. And this was a television disaster. Don't get at me and tell me that James Madison actually covered. That game was over. Okay. That game was over by halftime. And so I do believe they will say, okay, we're not going to do that anymore. Just like they changed we're not going to give the conference champions the home field advantage thing. They're going to say, and maybe give them a Notre Dame style carve out where if you're a group of 5 team and your top 15 will put you in. But yeah, the idea that we're putting these unranked or 20 something teams in a 12 team college football playoff is nonsense. And I think that they will change it. Here, and my other one was just I do not start Christmas shopping yet because I have a time-honored tradition of firing off my Christmas shopping on December 23rd, which I believe is the day this show airs. So as you are watching this, beloved Outsiders fans, I will be at the Target near you.
Is anybody else shocked that our friend Jason Dick reserves his Christmas shopping for the day of Festivus?
He feels like one of those guys. Yeah,
that's how I get in the spirit.
He does feel like one of those guys. Jason, I'm going to go ahead and give you the point for the playoff thing, since there is a rule that takes effect next year that only one G6 is going to be allowed in every year. So they've literally already made a rule that's going to at least cut what we saw in half.
Well, I think they couldn't. Can they go to 0? I mean,
I don't know if they'll go to 0, but they it's one spot, I think, next year. What I hope they do is just go to more teams.
I will bet they put something like Jason said when they reconfigure this after this year, when it becomes the SEC and Big Ten running it. I think they will make a caveat that for a group of 5 to get in, they have to be ranked in the top 15, 18. They're going to put a threshold to where a team can't be outside the top 25 because they're a group of 5 they get in. Because there are occasional, like last year with Boise, where they were ranked well above line. All the metrics had them in. Should they have got a bye as a 3 seed because they won the Mountain West? No, but they should have been in. We should have gotten to see how they could compete. They'd beaten or competed against Oregon. It was number 1 at the time. Like, if a group of 5 has proven to be competitive and is ranked both, in the computer models and by the people in the top 15, give them their swing. But that was the thing about this year. Nobody had any thought that JMU or Tulane was actually going to be competitive. Like, there have been years where there's a group of 5 where somebody thinks they might be. Like that Central Florida team a few years ago that went undefeated.
Cincinnati.
Go undefeated, you get a swing.
Guess what? That was prior to NIL deals. Just saying that.
I'm not disputing it. I'm trying to find common ground in the middle because we know they're going to they're going to do something.
No, because Cincinnati is one of my favorite examples as to why the NIL is stupid, because they argued for years we wanted parity. And Cincinnati proved that in an open system, you can build parity because there are so many athletes out there that there are guys going to look for playing time. But then once you threw the money in there, it killed the parity.
Yeah.
By the way, if you haven't circled January 23rd on your calendar, go ahead and do that. There is a meeting. That's the deadline for a new setup for next year for whatever 2026 is. They've already agreed to a 12 team, but if they can figure something out by January 23rd, we might see something new starting next year. So we'll see what happens with that.
Maybe they'll put Ward Manuel in charge of it again, because he's running a great ship up there.
He is laser guided. And maybe the SEC and the Big Ten can actually figure out what they want to do and agree on something for a new playoff system. We'll see.
Do you think when he rebrands himself that he takes the E off his name and then he just becomes Ward Manuel and now he's going to be better? Or do you think he's beaten it twice, so now he's like, screw it, I'm Ward with an E?
He needs to add a couple W's, another D. Just
it's going to be like WARDEEEEEE because you can't get rid of the guy. So
I'm just going to say, I'm going to save my comments because he made it. Well, not just him. The entire organization made it to the Festivus poll this year.
Oh, nice. All right, we got to get to the Festivus poll. Before we do that, let's tell them about Battalion Fire Protection. Who's going to tell them what it's all about?
Well, I'll start off, and then Bo can jump in and give you the details on how to get in touch with them. But it is that time of year, maybe not here in Houston or in the state of Texas, it's coming. At some point, winter will get here, and it will feel like Christmas. It may be February, but when you do, you're going to have to kick on those heaters. You're going to put some fires in your fireplace there, and that's when things happen. That's when I'm going to tell you right now, my boss just got done rebuilding his house because they had a fire going, and the flute of his chimney was blocked, and it caused a fire, and it burned down their entire house. They lived in a hotel for almost 9 months. Not a whole lot of fun. And why was that? It was because smoke detectors didn't work. They didn't have fire extinguishers, so they had nothing to do. Guess what? Battalion Fire Protection, they're going to do all your fire inspections, they're going to make sure that you're taken care of. They protect people and property, and whether that's building a new building, doing your inspections, getting your home stuff set up, they got you covered. And fire is not something you mess with. It's one of those things that once it gets going, it's hard as hell to put out. And when you're trying to protect your family, and not just your family, but those cherished memories. When fires happen, you might have that wedding album that's sitting down and you're worried about getting your family out. You're not worried about grabbing that. Those memories are lost forever. They don't come back. The picture of your grandmother that you only have, you don't have the digital version because they didn't have Facebook back then. Those things can be gone. That's why you take the fire protection very very, very seriously. And Battalion Fire Protection is the ones you need to call.
There we go. 755-6569 for Battalion Fire Protection. They are the sponsor of the envelope game every single week. And Bo has charged out into the lead.
There he is. I thought Bo dazed out on us.
Envelope game. No, he's there. No. He's ready to roll. He's ready to roll. All right, gentlemen.
I want to hear the
Are we ready?
Stories.
Are we ready for some grievances? Are we ready for Festivus?
Let's air these grievances.
This show debuts, as Jason pointed out, on Festivus Day. If you are a Seinfeld fan and you remember Festivus, it was the 23rd. So we do hit on 10 a.m. on the 23rd. So hope you guys are having a great Tuesday if you're checking us out then, or whenever you check us out. Have a great Christmas week, friends, family, whatever you do. And if you celebrate Festivus, get your grievances ready. Good luck in your test of strength. Jake Paul failed his. All right, guys, let's get
the first time it wasn't rigged, he actually lost.
Amazing. Isn't that incredible? Yeah. Make it a shoot, and it turns out weird. You make it a shoot with real boxing gloves, that's kind of tough. All right, who's going first? Who's got grievances first for Festivus this year?
I'll start. I don't mind. I'll
All
start
right.
with my number one grievance that annoys me year in and year out, and I haven't put it on the poll. And so this year it's going on the poll because it happened to me this morning, and it pisses me off. If
All
you are in the right-hand lane and you're not turning right and you're at a stoplight and you're holding up the entire freaking line, no, do not be that person. If you're going straight, you stay in the middle of the left lane. You don't get in the right lane so that you hold up everybody who could go right on red. You suck, and I don't like you.
Dude, this just happened to me today, Chance Mock, today, where I'm at a light on Palmer heading into the city. And yeah, it was just me. I need to turn right here. And there's one other car at the light, and they're in the right-hand lane waiting on it to change the green so they can go straight. And I'm losing my mind. My mom is in the car with me, and she's like, why do you get so worked up about that? I'm like, I don't know, because I'm a person who uses logic. All right. Why can't you just move your ass out of the way if you're not going to turn right here?
Yeah. The other thing that's a cousin of that, when you are the first car, is a heightened responsibility that really falls away a lot of the time. When you're the first car at the light, pay attention.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you got to be paying attention to. You're the quarterback for the whole line. I guess you're the center because you're the one that's snapping the ball. Yeah. Until you do something, the rest of us can't do anything. Be paying attention. Don't be looking down at your phone. Don't you do it. Not if you're first in line, because when that light goes green, if I'm 5 cars back, you got to go, Sally, because if you don't, I may not get through that light.
It's like being at third base in blackjack. You can mess this up for the whole table, okay? You can ruin everybody's fate.
There it is. All right. So we're gonna go around, or Chance, you want to get them all off your chest now?
Let's just go around. We don't want to have one person. Yeah.
All right, we'll go around. You know what? I'll go next. We'll make it simple because we kind of already discussed it. I'll make mine all sports related. We got to go to 16 teams if we're going to let the little guys in. That's what we got to do. It's been my dream for a long time. They went to 12. Let's go to 16. Let's go to 16. Let's have ourselves a 16-team playoff. Texas would have gone to Texas Tech, and y'all can't tell me that wouldn't have been fun. That's my first grievance. Let's do it.
Awesome,
well, look, yes, obviously it would be super fun. And I've said that about the playoff ever since they went to 4 and then wanted to expand more. Yes, I will watch the hell out of it. It's going to be awesome. But my thing is just, if you look at a team and think they have no business competing for a national champion, then we have too many teams in. All right.
Okay. But then that means you do not sign off on the NFL playoffs. Do you not enjoy the NFL playoffs?
Well, look, I consider the NFL and college football 2 totally different sports. Okay. So yes, I also don't think that the WNBA playoffs are comparable to the college football playoff. I think they're 2 totally separate systems where the difference in the NFL between the best team and the 20th best team is really tight. As where in college football, the difference between 1 and 5 is often gargantuan. Right. So that's my issue with that. But yes, I would say go to 6. Look, like what I said at the beginning of the show, where I watched 8 teams and I'm not sure that any of them really belong in the playoff. It's even grosser when you think of, and I know nobody wants to be nice to them. I'm not going to be nice to them. Notre Dame is sitting at home and could be the 3rd best team in football. As a matter of fact, I picked them versus Indiana today. But they're not even playing, and I'm watching Tulane just wave goodbye to Ole Miss players as they go into the end zone again and again and again and again. So yeah, I don't know how the answer to that is put more teams in.
Yeah, well, I mean, because that's the answer. Because teams like Notre Dame, Vanderbilt, Texas, maybe even BYU needed to have a part in this discussion. Like,
but here's
I kept thinking of watching those games was Texas and Notre Dame. Those are the 2 teams I kept thinking about. Like, if you'd have sent Notre Dame to Oxford and Texas to Oregon, now that's a playoff.
Well,
And you can't tell
I
me
agree
that
with you.
Texas that they couldn't get on a run, Jason, because Texas or Notre Dame, with the talent they've got, they could get on a little. Maybe they don't win it all, but they're a threat.
Well, and Chad, but here's the fly in the ointment of your thing when you let in the group of fives. You don't have the NFL playoffs and then let the D2 college champ get the last spot because they also play football.
Right.
And
I agree.
let's be
I agree. Let's be very clear. They need to be out. I've said it over and over again. What Chance said, he said it perfectly. I've never understood why this is the only version of football where they do it. I'm with you. They need to be out.
Like that's the thing. I'm fine with 16. And if you base whatever metric they come up with, and I hope it's not the BCS that Jason loves in the doors that involve computers and coaches just randomly saying, I don't like Texas, so I'm going to vote them 12th when everybody has them in the top 5. But so what? As long as there's an objective metric, then it should be the best 8, 12, or 16 teams, but there's a line, and that's it. And the best 16 get in it, or 8 or whatever, and do battle. There shouldn't be, you're a conference champ, so you get extra designation or any. No. Get the best 16, or like in your NFL analogy, the best 14, and let them go down. And when that happens, it's unfair to the other teams that Oregon got to play JMU. No, like Oregon's season wasn't or let's use Ole Miss with Tulane. What did Ole Miss do that was that much better than what A&M did in the regular season? Nothing. They actually had 2 losses instead of 1. Ole Miss got a layup. A&M got Miami, who has talent. And that goes away because it disrupts the rest of the playoff. Because guess what? Now teams that shouldn't be advancing around are getting to, and it just dilutes the whole pool until you get to the 4, and then you usually have the best 4, but it dilutes the product dramatically.
Yeah, and that was the interesting line when you look at that, the way that worked out. If you're 5 and 6, you were Oregon and you were Ole Miss, and you got to play those teams. If you were 7 and 8, you were A&M and Oklahoma, and you got to play those teams. It was a very different circumstance for for just those 2 spots. That's probably not how it should work every year. And if they keep doing this, that's what it's going to feel like. But at least the 11 seed's going to be more real moving forward if they keep it where they are. At least that's going to be.
I mean, Texas benefited from that last year when they played Clemson. And yeah, Klubnik's a good quarterback, and Clemson has talent. But that Clemson team,
right?
We all knew that they got lucky when they beat SMU, and so they got a spot, but they didn't belong in it. They hadn't done it for the season,
right?
And it played out.
Well, and remember, Texas played the teams that would have been 11 and 12 if they seeded properly, and Texas took advantage of that. Now they've got it seeded properly, so we're going to see this year in and year out. If it was going to keep up, which again it's not, but if we kept seeing that every year, where 11 and 12 are that bad, it's a bad look.
So I mean, using Jason's 4-team example,
oh my God,
I can't right now look at Texas Tech and Oregon, or Texas Tech, Oregon, and Ole Miss and be like, oh, Tech is way better than them. Tech belonged in the 4, and Oregon's losses to number 1 Indiana. So it's like, whoa, wait a second. Tech's loss was to Arizona State. Now, they were better at that point before injuries hit them and everything like that. But I can see a line above 4 because sometimes it's not as clear cut. When Texas went 2 years ago, that 6-seeded Georgia team that lost in the SEC championship game, that nowadays that wouldn't even hurt you. That Georgia team deserved a shot to get a 3-peat, to be honest. Florida State was undefeated. They deserved a shot. It may not be. 16s may be too many, but 4 may be too light sometimes. I guess I'm
taking one of my Festivus out of it because we're derailing Festivus talking about playoffs.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I brought props for my Festivus.
No, let's go. Let's get back. That's my fault. Let's get back on the Festivus deal. I promise I won't create more conversation with my next grievance. Jason, give us your first grievance.
Okay, just very quickly. I just want to say that, look, computer modeling and analytics have come a long way since the BCS was sent to the knacker, all right? Back when it was just a bunch of nerds with a TI-83 calculator figuring things out. Then I think they would do a better job today.
That was my Festivus. That was my Festivus one, is get people out of it. We've moved so far along with AI, and if you're going to have 12 teams, the variables and differences and everything else, you're going to get the best 12 using computers. That was mine. Right, get rid of the people.
All right, Jeff Sagarin, give us your first grievance.
I wasn't sure whether this was going to come up tonight or not, but it belongs in the airing of grievances. Johnny Manziel. What are we doing here, man? All right. What are we doing? And Chad, I would love to hear you testify on a part of the Aggies. He missed. He was supposed to be the celebrity guest picker on College Game Day on Saturday at Kyle Field right before the Aggies kickoff versus Miami. He didn't make it. He was at the Jake Paul fight the night before. I think it was only Jake Paul who got knocked the F out. I don't think Johnny was part of that. But he wasn't there. And I'm upset for two reasons. Well, really just one reason. But yeah, Texas Aggies, you should be upset because he's supposed to be up there celebrating the tradition and the brand of Texas A&M, okay? Because he's one of your only Heisman Trophy winners. John David Crow is not walking in that door. Was that his name?
That is his name.
We Longhorn fans, we want him up there as well, just to reinforce his, I guess as Charles Barkley would call it, knuckleheaddom, okay? I want to see Johnny Manziel on stage again, just diluting the majesty of that Heisman Trophy. But my real beef is he put out a statement where he said in part, quote, "I'll continue to let everyone out there run with a fake narrative, and at the end of the day, perception always wins over reality," end quote. Just tell us what the deal was, okay?
Did he not say he was in the hospital still, or he was sick still, or something?
Is that what he said? He was sick? I haven't heard the explanation.
There's a line in there that I'm taking the next couple of days to heal and recover or whatever.
He said, "I'm recovering and feeling about a 3 out of 10, going to rest and try to get back to normal," which I couldn't tell if he was saying that he was sick or if he was kind of reacting to Texas A&M getting their ass kicked. Well, they didn't get their ass kicked, but not prevailing in the playoff there. But it was very ambiguous. And I'm like, just tell us what the deal is, man. And if you don't want to tell us what the deal is because you messed up again, that's fine. But don't be like, "I'll continue to let everybody run with the fake narrative." Well, give us something that's not a fake narrative, buddy.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it was sad. That was sad. It ended up being just the most like Johnny Manziel-ish thing.
Yeah.
That he would commit to that, not show up because he was at the Jake Paul fight. Like I couldn't make up anything that's sillier than that unless it involved an inflatable swan. And it was just a lack of attention to detail that, obviously as a fan of the team,
thing, though, Chad.
I didn't like. It was a lack of focus for that day. It's the first ever playoff game, and he didn't care enough to figure it out.
That's my problem with it. Is it's a priority thing. Like you have made a living off of Aggies that worship the ground that you walk on. You show up when you need money, and they get paid $25,000 to sign your name on a couple helmets, and you're living off of that. And it meant a lot to the Aggie community. And it was the first game in Kyle Field in the history of that very storied place. And the Aggies get their first chance in the college football playoffs. And you're the Heisman Trophy winner that half the people in that freaking stadium are still wearing your jersey. And you don't care enough to show up. Like, to me, that's what bothered me.
I want to know, and we'll never find out, I would imagine, the exact details of when did ESPN find out? Right. When did Caruso get the phone call? Was he already planning on being at the game? What was, which by the way, much more successful Aggie Caruso than Johnny Manziel, and absolutely, this is the way he plays basketball. It's like, what's that? My team is in an emergency. They need some heart and hustle. I'm there for you. All right.
You know what this would be like, Jason? This would be like, we know that our buddy Reese Davis threw me under the bus, and so we became friends. And so I've been backstage at 2 game days since then. It'd be like if Vince Young was supposed to be there before the Georgia game, and they were like, "Oh shit, Vince isn't here, but Chance is backstage," and I'm like, "Yeah," and everybody's like,
"Suit him up."
Cool.
Oh my God, that was
Chance, who
bad.
you picking? Everybody.
All right, Bo, give us a grievance. Uh-oh. Bo, freeze up.
I'm going to take it off the sports for a second. She ordered a 25-pack of Grinch stickers for her first graders. You put, like first grade little Christmas party, you put them in the bags. She inspected them. Good thing she did, because if not, some kid would have got this.
Damn. Easy, sticker company. What
It's
are we
got
doing?
the Grinch, but it says "fuck them kids." Like this was going to be in some little 6-year-old's little bag of fun. No,
Damn.
I won't disparage the actual
brutal.
company, but I have a grievance for people that don't monitor this kind of crap.
Yeah, that's not good at all. Chance Mock, give me your second grievance for Festivus.
My second grievance is because I went through this weekend. I have a real grievance with the people that put the expiration dates on like your barbecue bottle or whatever, because when you put them on the bottle and then you can't really see them, and then you're trying to determine where you're cleaning out your fridge, like, is this good? Is it not good? And I'm not one that's going to open it and smell. Like, that's not me. Like, the milk people, they put it right there and you can see. So you don't have to open it up and go, is this bad?
Yeah, dark on white. Yeah.
If you get your little bottle of Salt Lick barbecue sauce, which I love, that you can get at HEB and it's delicious, but that bottle, you put it in the fridge, you pull it out, well, then it's got condensation on it, then you can't see, and you're rubbing it, and you can't see through the glass, and it's the stupid. Clearly, just put it on the label. Like, make a little white box and put it on the label, please, for people like me.
Good call. Good call. White letters on black or black letters on white. Take your pick. Make it clear. We can all read it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Using Jason's logic as a theory here, like one things with logic. If you know it's a problem, you can solve it yourself with a sheet and write the damn day you bought it.
You can't see it half the time.
That's not Chance's job. Chance's job is to eat and drink, and it's their job to put
It's also not his job to hoard to not use the bottle. If you buy the bottle, it shouldn't take more than 2 weeks.
Hey, Chance, I'm with you. And also, when you get those people to properly mark your food, can you send them over to the hardware store so we can mark up the socket set so this old man can read a socket? Why do we have to make sockets that nobody can read? The hell is going on?
I have to take a picture with my phone and then zoom in on my phone.
Exactly. What are we doing? All right. My second grievance is a real simple old man grievance for the NFL. There are 3 teams in the NFL I'm talking to, and only 3. Green Bay Packers, Detroit Lions, Chicago Bears. You are not allowed to wear blank helmets, okay? You can have all the nostalgia you want. You can have all the history you want. But we like throwbacks where there's something on your helmet. Stop wearing blank helmets. It looks dumb. Wear bright orange, wear bright blue. Packers, wear white. Looks clean. I don't love it, but at least there's something on your helmet. Be better. Packers, Bears, Lions. You are on notice for Festivus. Jason, what do you got?
I guess this is more in the spirit of Festivus in the airing of grievances, but one of my, not to say that I have catchphrases, but I've been saying this for a while. It's not, what is it? Why do bad things happen to good people? I could never say that. I'm not good people. So I'm more of a, why do slight inconveniences happen to people who are not outright terrible? On Saturday, I'm driving around and I get a notification. My car starts beeping saying, right front tire, air pressure very low, pull over and check for flat. And it was as if the gods were shining down upon me because I was driving right past a Discount Tire and I was like, hell yes, I will take it. Those guys will to check it out. If I got a flat, they'll fix it for. I'm a big fan of the people at Discount Tire. So I pull in, I take it in there, I show him the thing. He says, all right, we'll check it out, but it's probably gonna be like an hour. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I got nothing going on. I'm chill. And I'm sitting in the waiting room and I was like, I would like a soda right now, okay? A Coke Zero. I'll go for a Diet Coke in a pinch. Discount Tire has no soda machine. What happened to the soda machines of the world? We used to be a country, all right? There's a water fountain. Oh, no, I had to drink water like a hobo, but there's no soda machine. So I right across same parking lot, there's a Jiffy Lube. I'm like, surely I go to the Jiffy Lube lobby, no soda machine. what the hell is going on? Right next to that, though, is a Panda Express. Have you ever been inside a Panda Express? They have an inside. I've never gone to the inside. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I've dined at the Panda Express.
That's fine dining in Waxahachie, guys.
Yes.
I go into the Panda Express, and you know how it works. There's like the hot case of food and a line, and you go down and you say, I want that. I want the orange chicken and the rice, lo mein, whatever. And then at the end, you pay. And I don't know, maybe dick move on my part. I just went all the way to the end to the register, and I waited for the lady to finish in front of me. And the guy kind of looks at me. I'm cutting the line. He's like, can I help you, sir? I was like, I just want a soda. And he says, all right, you still got to get in line, though. And I was like, you want me to go get in it? And he's like, yeah, you got to go through the line. And I was like, okay. And so I go and I get in the line, and the man who's standing above the Kung Fu steak, he's like, what do you have, sir? And I was like, I just want a soda. And he's so confused. He looks at me, and he's like, he's holding the container. He's like, you don't want any of this? And I'm like, no. And then I have to go to the next station, and there's another person. There's like white rice, fried rice, lo mein, and I'm like, I just want a soda. And they're like, what?
The only thing that would have made it. The only thing that would have made it better, Jason, is if the last guy that's at the appetizer station looked like Borat, and he goes, you will never get this.
No, what would have made it even better is that after you made it through the whole line, you get to the appetizer, if that guy's like, dude, all you had to do was go to the checkout in the beginning.
And I eventually got back, and I was like, hey, you remember me? I just want a soda. And so he sold me a $3.79 fountain soda. And so I just ask again, it's a Festivus miracle. Why do slight inconveniences happen to people who are not out there terrible?
Come on, Panda Express. Let's get it figured out. Bo, give me another grievance, sir.
This one will never be solved. But it's what makes X or Twitter just viral. Everybody thinks you should talk shit in the first quarter of a game. Like, wait until the damn game is over before you're going to start calling people out, because it's too damn to go scroll through my damn Twitter, and all it is people retweeting shit from 4 hours ago predicting Aggie victories, or OU when they were up 17-0, or Notre Dame chiming in, Alabama doesn't belong in this playoff. Wait until the game is over. After that, talk all the crap you want. But everybody does it early. There should be a punishment. If you talk early and what you're talking about doesn't come through, you should get cut off for a week or something. There should be banishments for being a dumb jackass. It's Festivus.
Hey, Brian Jones always said, don't taunt the alligator until you cross the river. Chance Mock, do you have another grievance for us, sir?
I do. And it involves a university which resides in a beautiful state that looks like a mitten. And that is the people of the great state of Michigan and Ward Manuel and the dumpster fire that is that program. Go back. Number one, the fact that he was ever the chairman of that committee, the selection committee, is an abomination in and of itself. But you had the Harbaugh thing, the Connor Stallions thing. And here comes Sharon. I mean, we got our guy now. What is he doing? Well, we won't talk about why he's in prison, but we know that during the Ohio State game where they're getting their ass kicked, he's sending messages to OnlyFans girls as if he was really focused. And there's other things in the news today that I have not confirmed, and therefore I will not repeat them. But that whole place is an absolute dumpster fire. And the fact that the NCAA is not stepping in more forcefully and going, what in the hell is going on at this university? And the fact that Dave Portnoy is still out there pumping their gas as how good they are. It's like, bro, you literally are the definition of what a dumpster fire is right now. Like a morally bankrupt system and program up there. And it's absolutely disgusting. And there's one guy that's in charge of it, and it's Ward Manuel. And the fact that he still has a job is an abomination.
Wow, I like that grievance. All right, I got one more grievance, but before we do that, let's thank the good folks at Last Stand Hats. Who's peeking? Oh, it's Chance. Chance going to peek over the spec sign for you as I show you some new arrivals. By the way, they've been updating this a lot lately. Everything is just about 32. There's a couple that are there's a 35er right there, but there's some new ones I see in here. If you are, look at this. Little tech hat right there. That's not bad right there.
That's
Texas
a pretty
State.
good looking little tech hat.
Right? Got Longhorn stuff. There's a little Texas Tech for you if you're a Red Raider. Texas State, we've shown you plenty of those. The Texas right across the front of the hat in all different kinds. You got the doodle stuff. There's Chance's favorite, the doodle bird.
My guy.
All kinds of cool stuff for you at Last Stand Hats. So check them out. Again, hey, if you're not an Aggie and you want to let everybody know that you're not an Aggie, they can do that. If you want to try to figure out what a womp is and what that hat's about, get that one if you like. And as we pointed out at the top, if you can convince an Aggie friend of yours to wear the little brother hat, probably needed to make a bet beforehand, but hey, give it a shot. Last Stand Hats, it is the true fans brand. And remember, if you need one of the Outsiders hats, we've also got those for you. 12 different color combos on the Outsiders. Legitimately worth a shit hat. Get it for you. Maybe it's a late Christmas gift. Little late stocking stuffer. Get it in there. Use the code Outsiders10 when you go in there. Let me throw that up. There it is. Use the code Outsiders10. There's another QR code way for you to get in to Last Stand Hats. Thanks to them for being a great partner of ours. Gentlemen, I only have one more grievance, and it is going to help the kids because it's the holiday season. Chance Mock, I will retract the grievance if you disagree. Are you ready?
Okay.
We're going to add 3 words to high school football and college football. And those words are down by contact. For my entire life of now 50, almost 51 years, I've never understood why the NFL rule of down by contact doesn't live in high school and college. Chance Mock, you are someone who has coached the youth of America. Have you ever seen egregious safety situations that would make you take my grievance away?
None.
But there you go. So if
No.
a kid has to go down to a knee to catch a ball and nobody's there, if he's in high school or college, guess what? He gets to stand up and he gets to play football. That's the way it should be. Down by contact. Bring it to high school and college football.
You know what the example of that drives me nuts every single time is the guy that lays out and makes a diving catch and nobody's touched him. And because he laid out to make an outstanding catch, you're automatically down. Nobody's touched you. Nobody got you down.
Somebody just explained this to me. Why does Ryan Wingo not get to make the Kenneth Gainwell catch? Why does a guy at Georgia not get to make the Kenneth Gainwell catch? But Kenneth Gainwell gets to do it, and we think it's an amazing play. He got up and he got in the end zone. Why can't that happen in a high school title game? It's so stupid.
Good. I agree with that.
And all I ever get told is it's safety, Chad. They're trying to protect the kids. I've never seen a kid get hurt on a play like that, ever. Not one time. We got to change it. Let's change that right after we change the CFP. Jason Dick, do you have another grievance?
Sure. I could grievance all day, man. Here, this is, again, perfectly in the Festivus spirit as Christmas just days away. Why is my family so dog shit at buying me Christmas gifts, I ask?
Wow.
I suppose I should be grateful that everybody concedes and comes to my home for Christmas. When I say everybody, I got a small local family here. My mom lives just right over there. But then my sister and her kid, Aiden, they will all come to my home on Christmas and we'll open presents. And I realized a few days ago, I was like, you know what? I got to make sure that I do before Christmas Day. Currently sitting on the 8 feet away from me, right over there, currently sitting on the landing of my stairs are all of my Christmas gifts from 2024 that I opened them and put them. I was like, piled them up over here. I was like, okay, I'll go stuff these in the closet and never look at them again later. And they've sat there for 11 months and 4 weeks because I don't have any use for a calendar of dogs pooping Aiden. All right. Every year, my sister gets me a hoodie, and I'm a hoodie guy. I'm currently wearing this sweet ass camo poncho hoodie. Is that Bo's got a look? I like a good thin hoodie. But my sister gets me, I don't know where, is she going to thickhoodies.com? She gets me the big, heavy duty hoodie every year. There's like 4 days of the year in Texas where that garment is appropriate. So I got a big, thick ass hoodie sitting over there. And my mom always gets me what she thinks is some sort of clever t-shirt or funny to whatever. And so, yeah, that's sitting over there. Oh, man, I hadn't thought about this in years. My mom, not that long ago, bought me three polo shirts that had my name embroidered on the crest. Okay, it was just
you tried, Jason.
A plain polo shirt that said Jason on it. I was like, Mom, if I was in first grade, I'd get my ass kicked for wearing this. All right, I'm a 40-year-old man. What do I need this shirt with my name on it for?
That's bad.
So
hold on.
Why?
Point of order.
Look, yes.
If you ever want to get me a Christmas present and you want to make me a shirt that says on it, I'm all in it.
You're on that? Look, and I can't believe I can't believe it's gotten to this point because, you know, when you're a kid and it's Christmas and you have that aunt who just sends you socks or whatever, just buy me socks and underwear, okay? I don't want to get too into the details, guys, but I'm real hard on a pair of underwear. So I always need reinforcements, okay? We can always replenish that supply. Just get me socks and underwear. I will not leave them on the stairs for an entire year.
All right, Jason's family. Let's get into it now. He's a guy. There's his grievance. It's out there. You now know you need to take care of this. By the time you get to Christmas, you got 2 days. If you're watching us on the 23rd, to figure it out. All right, Bo, close us out on grievances. What's the final grievance for this Festivus?
Okay, y'all may just disagree with me on this. I am tired of the game day kicking thing, only from the South. Bad you feel for the kid that just lost $1 million on national TV. Like, I don't know. I love the concept of giving him $1 million, and it's great when they hit it. But they that poor the kid they pulled out. One, he was the epitome of things Aggies look and talk like with his goober mustache and thickish accent.
Yes, sir.
Overalls, mind you. And then the kid actually could kick. But none of the other NCAA kickers could kick in that wind. And so now you put him in this freaking gale force wind, and Herbie's like, aim over there. The kid lost $1 million on national TV.
But it was worse than that.
Wrong. I don't know any other way to put it. They got to figure out a way to at least give him you just ruined his life. Because one of these days, one of those kids is going to, I'm sorry, somebody's going to do something really bad to themselves, regretting what didn't happen because they missed a field goal.
Well, they a lot of times the miss is followed by Pat McAfee screaming, "This guy sucks."
Yeah,
that can't be fun.
Some of those people, like the guys that show up wearing pointy-toed boots and kicking in the stands, they know they're not making it. Like, it's not like they get a real chance, so they just get to get on TV.
You know what?
That can kick at 50, and they just have a miss and laugh at them.
But here's the problem with that poor kid. And I felt for that kid because I'm like, this kid probably spent his whole life going to games in Kyle Field, doing all the chants and the cheers and just living it. He lived it.
Yes.
He suffered from battered Aggie syndrome, and then he got his moment on College Game on the field. It wasn't the little makeshift thing that they do out in the parking lot. He's on Kyle Field. This is his moment.
Goalposts. Not just any goalpost, not the fake goalpost.
It's
the
real
goalpost.
Oh,
Yeah.
that hurt.
I just want to say, I don't, first of all, like how ESPN has just turned the keys of so much of their network over to Pat McAfee. I suppose he's an entertaining fella, but I miss Lee Corso every time I watch College Game Day. But doesn't it seem like he's just making up the rules of that contest as he goes? I know they always get an extra kick afterwards, but he went from $1 million. He's like $1.5 million. I was like, are you authorized just to give away ESPN's money like this? How does this work? Also, he's a punter. Pat McAfee was a punter. Oh, give me a fucking break. It's his money.
Well, just it's his DraftKings sponsorship that when DraftKings gave him $100 million for his podcast and ESPN bought it out, like, Pat gets to allocate how the money goes. So yes, it's not actually Pat's personal bank account, but Pat has a bucket of money to give away in those instances. So that was how that gets to that point.
Yeah. All right. Before we wrap up, gentlemen, Jason, let's tell them about one of the great things about a warm Texas winter, the golf club at Star Ranch. Not bad.
My favorite golf course in all of Central Texas. And I apologize, my beautiful baby, the golf club at Star Ranch. I have been neglecting you. It's been several months since I've been out to see you, but I will rectify that this Saturday. I'm coming. All right. Daddy is coming for you. And yeah, even though it's December, I believe it's going to be like 77 degrees out there on Saturday. But the good news is Star Ranch is in great shape 365 days a year. I don't know how they do it. All right. Magic Hutto water or something like that. But whether it's in the 100-degree days of summer or if it's super duper cold out there, the greens are always rolling true. You can make putts on those greens. The fairways looking lush, soft, nice, beautiful, incredible 18 holes of golf you can find out there. Great layout. Lots of fun holes out there and scoring available, birdie available, eagle for you great golfers available out there as well. If you're looking to set up a tournament, charity, or otherwise, they are the perfect one-stop shop for anything like that. They can help you out with all the stuff you need for that. Scan the QR code there or call them 252-GOLF to get more details. Set up a tee time at the golf club at Star Ranch. And thanks to my my secretary here. What is it? Jason Dick golf secretary, Bo Edge, who took care of a tea time for me this week.
I have one more grievance. I have one more grievance on my way out the door.
Yes.
When you are using someone else to book your discounted and free rounds, why do you always pick the hardest time to pick? Not Tuesday at 4 in the afternoon. You always talk about you don't have a job. You can play in the afternoon. You can no. Saturday at 10 a.m. and holiday weekend times.
Well, listen, here, yes, I understand. And look, I feel like, it's a fair trade for all of the incredible promotion that we do for the golf club at Star Ranch. Here's the problem, Bo, is, I would go play, Tuesday at 4 p.m. if you guys like. I got to get more unemployed friends, all right? All of my stupid friends just insist on keeping their jobs.
Hey,
and so
I'm unemployed.
so yeah, I got nobody to play with at those times. But Bo, let's hook up. Let's do it, man.
Yeah, sounds like you got a partner there.
Yeah. What'd you shoot
I
today,
resigned my job due to health reasons and don't have a new one yet. So this guy, I played 18 at Star Ranch today. You are gonna. They redid some of the tee boxes on the par threes.
Oh,
it is like hitting off pure butter. Like they are like don't come up soft on it because you will fat the hell out of it. But if you hit it good, it feels like hitting out of wet sand. It is beautiful.
One more reminder, we are the Outsiders, brought to you by Poncho Outdoors. There's a look at those flannels. Get the flannels, the short sleeve, whatever you're looking for. The great hoodies that the guys are wearing tonight. Jason and Bo both rocking some of those Poncho hoodies tonight. This is the Powder River on a human being. And it's just got a lot of great stuff. If you like the Western style, check that out. Like the regular style, check that out. The hoodies, the long sleeve tees are great. Like Jason talked about, the thin hoodie. If you're into a good thin layer on the hoodies and long sleeve t-shirts, Poncho is just incredible for that.
A note to my sister, I can wear this on July 4th, okay? It's comfortable all days of the year. Also, one more airing of a grievance, all right? Because I like the camo stuff. I have not just this, but I got a Pearl Snap camo poncho. Pearl Snap. The whole, I can't see you because I'm wearing camo. That's not a funny joke, okay? I don't need that anymore, guys. All right, that's
a very old man kind of joke.
Nice try.
Hey, you just need new friends. Forget about their job status. like, I'm sorry, but that's like an office space. Do your guys say that to you? No, man, that's just wrong. Anybody that comes up to you and says they can't see you because you're wearing camo, they need to be 86 out of your life because they are just they're not up to your commitment.
Yeah. Jason, what we've learned in this Festivus show is you may just need to get all new friends and family. Just rotate them all out.
I've been considering the witness protection program, Chad.
Just for a year. For a year, and then we'll come back next Festivus and you tell us if it got better.
Problem is, WITSEC actually expects you to hold the job.
Oh, well, never mind that.
Yeah. All right, we'll close her up. Thank you all for liking, subscribing, getting your notifications. We're up over 200,000 subscribers now on the YouTube channel. We appreciate you for that. If you're watching us on Festivus the 23rd or the 24th or the 25th, thank you so much. Everybody have a great holiday. Merry Christmas. And who knows, maybe we'll fit in a little Outsiders for you next week. Maybe even predict Texas and Michigan, because what the hell's that game going to be? We'll talk about that. We'll go to next Tuesday, 10 a.m. debut. That'll be the day before the Texas game, if I'm not mistaken, right? 2 days before. 2 days before? Day before? We'll debut the day before the game on the 30th. I think that's the way it'll work. Yeah. We'll be back next week, talk a little bit about that game, try to figure out whatever the hell it's going to be. Coach Muschamp, can you come coach the bowl game?
Boom.
We'll get into that. Boom. Part 2. Until next time, we are the Outsiders, and we are legitimately worth a shit. See ya.